This love runs deep within me, deep like the ocean, you hear me?
Big Freedia's heartbreaking goodbye, a love lost too soon. Big Freedia recently went through one of the hardest things anyone can imagine: the sudden loss of her partner, Devin Hurst. What happened at his funeral left everyone in the room in tears and speechless. But before we talk about that emotional tribute, let's go back and understand the love story that makes this loss so painful. Devin wasn't just Freedia's boyfriend, he was her strength, her safe place, and the person who stood by her side through everything. Their relationship wasn't something they showed off to the world all the time, but anyone close to them could see how deep their connection really was. Through all the ups and downs of fame, personal struggles, and public life, Devin remained a steady, calming presence in Freedia's life. Freedia has often shared how Devin helped her get through some of her hardest times, like when she lost her mother and was still grieving. Devin wasn't just someone she loved. He was someone who truly understood her pain, her history, her soul. That kind of connection is rare. Devin also had his own story of survival. In 2018, he was shot multiple times but managed to recover. That traumatic event changed him.
Yeah, right. Just,
I hope so.
well, you stay focused and stay out of trouble, and everything will be all right.
Trouble come find me, dude.
Oh my God, Lord, my boyfriend went to jail.
Freedia said that after the incident, he became more in tune with life, more spiritual, more present. That near-death experience didn't pull them apart. It brought them even closer. Their love deepened, strengthened by the shared knowledge that life is fragile. Devin wasn't looking for fame. He didn't chase the spotlight or try to benefit from Freedia's name. He stayed in the background, always supporting her and helping her stay grounded. He offered quiet love and unwavering support, something so many people search for but never find. Then, suddenly, the news came: Devin had passed away. Freedia shared the heartbreaking announcement on social media, calling him her love, her baby, her protector. She didn't say how it happened or what led to his death. The details didn't matter as much as the pain she was in. She wrote that she couldn't function, that her entire world had stopped. The post was raw, real, and full of sorrow. People felt it. Fans and friends alike knew this wasn't just a breakup.
Your responsibilities is going to be Devin's responsibilities. Devin can't handle Freedia's responsibilities. But maybe this is the time that you do need to just be free.
This was the loss of someone who had been there through everything. Someone who wasn't replaceable. Freedia wrote that life without Devin didn't feel real, and her silence about the circumstances only made the heartbreak more intense. But then came the day of the funeral, and something truly unforgettable happened. Held in New Orleans, the city where their love story grew and where Freedia built her career, the funeral was packed. The church was full of family, friends, fans, fellow artists, and members of the LGBTQ+ community. It wasn't just a goodbye, it was a moment of collective mourning. Soft music played in the background. Flowers lined the space. People held hands and hugged tightly. Even though the room was full, there was a stillness, like everyone was holding their breath, waiting to see how Freedia would speak or if she even could. When Freedia stepped to the front, standing beside Devin's casket, she tried to talk, but grief overwhelmed her. Her body trembled. Her voice broke. And then she collapsed, unable to hold herself up. It was raw and real. There was no pretending to be strong. Close friends rushed to her side, helping her stand, and eventually, through tears, she began to speak. What she said next was one of the most emotional moments many in that room would ever witness. It wasn't a prepared speech. It wasn't rehearsed. Freedia spoke straight from the heart, unfiltered and full of truth. She talked about Devin's calm energy, how he never had to raise his voice to be felt. She said, "He saved me more times than I can count," and people in the room began quietly crying. She spoke about the first night they met, about how Devin always saw her not the stage performer, but the person behind the makeup and music. She thanked him for staying during the hardest times, for protecting her when the world was cruel, and for loving her without ever asking her to change. But the most powerful moment came at the end of her tribute. With her voice still shaky, she said, "I don't know how I'm going to keep going, but I know he would want me to, and I will, for him." That sentence hit everyone. The silence in the room deepened, and for a moment, it felt like the entire crowd shared one breath. That was the kind of grief that reaches beyond words. After the funeral, Freedia stepped away from the public eye for a while. She canceled shows, postponed appearances, and let her team handle communications. And really, who could blame her? This wasn't something she could just smile through. This wasn't a situation for makeup and cameras. Instead, she leaned on her closest friends, her chosen family, the people who knew Devon, who knew her story, and who didn't expect her to be strong. She stayed off social media for the most part, only posting a few emotional thank you notes to fans. Even those short messages carried deep pain. But the fans didn't disappear. They posted old photos, videos, and kind messages. One person wrote, "I never met Devon, but I felt the love through every post and interview. My heart breaks for you, Freedia." Another shared, "Watching her break down reminded me of when I lost my own partner. The pain is real, and she made us all feel seen." Other artists reached out too. Musicians, drag performers, and even celebrities who had worked with Freedia offered support.
Hey, babe. I'm happy you home. What's gonna happen with you coming on tour?
I can't make it until I go to court.
This is my first big tour. I want you to be a part of this and experience it with me.
Some sent flowers, others made donations in Devon's name. The community she spent years uplifting was now lifting her. She didn't rush back. There were no dramatic comebacks or forced smiles. Her return has been slow, gentle, just little glimpses of someone slowly finding their way again. Freedia's whole career has been rooted in strength. From her early days breaking barriers in a genre that didn't always accept her, to becoming one of the biggest voices in New Orleans bounce music, she's been through it all. But this loss, this love might be one of the most defining chapters in her story. Fans are already talking about how this might influence her next project. People believe her upcoming music could be her most personal yet not just fun, high-energy tracks, but songs about healing, heartbreak, and holding on. Because Devon wasn't just her partner, he was part of the reason she could shine so bright.
When you come to a Freedia show, you feel loved, you feel open to be who you are and to express yourself through dance music.
And now, carrying that light forward becomes part of the legacy they built together. At the heart of it all is something we all understand: love and loss. You didn't have to know Devon personally to feel his impact. His quiet love left a mark. And while no one can replace him, his memory can be honored. Freedia's grief is personal, but it's also something many of us relate to. She didn't hide her pain. She let the world see it. And in doing so, she reminded us all, it's okay to break down. It's okay to cry. And even in our darkest moments, love can still lead the way. As we come to the end of this story, what we're left with is more than just the memory of Devon Hurst. It's the imprint of a love that was real, powerful, and transformative. In a world where so many relationships are fleeting or performative, what Big Freedia and Devon had was deeply authentic. It was a love that lived in the quiet moments, in the unseen support, and in the unwavering presence of someone who simply showed up, again and again. Devon didn't need to be in the spotlight to have impact. His love gave Freedia the strength to be in hers. And that's something truly special. Because behind every trailblazer, every icon, every person who carries the weight of public life, there's usually someone behind the scenes offering calm, care, and unconditional love. Devon was that person for Freedia. Grief like this doesn't have a timeline. It doesn't follow a script. It can't be moved on from. Instead, it gets woven into the rhythm of daily life, into the silences, the songs, and the small reminders. And for Freedia, that rhythm will never sound the same again. But it will carry echoes of Devon, his kindness, his peace, his quiet strength. This kind of loss leaves holes that never fully close. But in time, those holes become spaces where memories live, where love continues, even when the person is gone. The community's response to Freedia's pain proves just how powerful that love was. People saw it. People felt it. And they responded not with pity, but with empathy, with care, and with deep respect. As she slowly steps back into her public life, it's not about getting back to normal. There is no normal after something like this. It's about finding a new way to live. A way to carry the love forward, even when the person is no longer physically here. And that journey isn't linear, it's full of setbacks and small victories, of days when you can't get out of bed, and days when you find yourself smiling through tears. Freedia has always been a fighter. She's always stood tall in the face of adversity, pushing boundaries and challenging norms. But what makes her strength so inspiring is that it's rooted in vulnerability. She's not pretending to be okay. She's letting us see the cracks. It becomes legacy. It lives on in the people we touch and the stories we tell. So let this be more than a tribute. Let it be a call to cherish the ones you love, to say what matters while you can, and to be the kind of presence in someone's life that brings peace. Just like Devin was for Freedia. Thank you for being here and holding space for this story. If this video touched your heart, leave a message of love in the comments. Let Freedia know she's not walking through this alone. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do for someone in pain is just show up. Until next time, stay kind, stay open, and hold your loved ones a little closer. Love never really leaves us. It just changes form, and in that way, Devin will always be with her. Rest in peace, Devin. You were truly one of a kind.